Hey, what is going on? It is 12 noon on Friday. You gotta remember what day it is here. When you're working every day, you lose track of what day of the week it is. And look, that's a good problem to have. You don't want to know what day of the week it is. You just know it's the day to get out there and make some money and work towards building something that you ultimately could look at and be proud of. Building a business that allows you to do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. Look, real estate might not be your ultimate end goal of what you want to do. Maybe you want to be a real estate investor ultimately. Maybe you're just looking for something that balances more into your life, where you could have a little bit more control over when you work, how smart you're working, and all that to really build a great business. But one of the things that every business needs is leads. Every business out there needs leads to survive. If you don't have leads, then you really don't have much of a business. You could have the greatest systems in the world, you could have the greatest processes in the world, but if you're not actually helping any people, if you don't have any customers going through that process, that's not much of a business. So today what we're talking about is finding leads, but not just finding leads, nurturing those leads as well. Because a lot of times when you find a lead, it's not that instant, hey, let's do a deal today. It usually takes some build-up to get to the point where they're actually ready to transact. A lot of time when you have an opportunity, you're getting these opportunities early on. Sometimes so early on that you don't even realize it's an opportunity. But that's so the point of what we're going to be talking about today is finding these leads, but then also, throwing some prioritization on them so you understand, okay, which ones are the ones that need to transact the soonest and which ones the furthest, but still nurturing all of those leads. And it starts by segmenting it and knowing who it is that your audience is for this various messaging, whether you're sending emails, whether you're calling them, texting them, maybe you're meeting them on appointments or whatever the case may be. We're going to talk about this whole process of turning leads into clients and really finding those leads in the first place. So this is a really great episode. If you need some business, if you could stand for some more leads, strap yourself in here, block out your time for the next half hour. Let's get into it. I'm John Christopher. You're watching State of Real Estate.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Charisma. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, to help you grow your real estate business, to mastermind, to help you do more with your real estate business, whether that's make more money, be more powerful with your time. That's one of the things you'll realize in your real estate career is as you start to achieve more success, all of a sudden, money is no longer the primary objective. Wouldn't that be great for money not to be the primary objective? Part of it gets to a point where, okay, now we've got to start looking at the time. And rather than trading your time for money, investing your time to turn your time into cash flowing money, into dividends, into something that's ultimately going to give you equity. And that's what investors look at. Investors, when they're buying an investment, whether it's a piece of real estate or buying a stock or whatever type of investment it is that they're investing in, they're investing for a few reasons. They're either trying to gain some equity, they're trying to get the asset to appreciate. So you've got to think of yourself as an asset as well. You've got to force appreciation on yourself, and one of the ways you could do that is training. So you're in the right spot today watching this episode so you could really kind of define what you need to do to be able to find leads better and nurture leads better. So first, I just want to throw some ideas up here to find leads. And there's the point of this, just so you know, there's all these different places it is that you could grab from, and some of these are available for free. You might not even realize it's happening. This is going to be just like your day-to-day life with the people that you meet on a day-to-day basis, not the people at your office. The other realtors in your office, if they want to buy real estate, they don't need you. So not meeting other people in your office, but meeting consumers, meeting people that might potentially need our services. And this is not something that you're doing necessarily actively when I call this day-to-day. The day-to-day is just more about the people that just come across you. The people that you somehow interact with on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's the receptionist at your dentist appointment. Maybe you live in some sort of condo building and it's the doorman or somebody working there in the building. Maybe even a maintenance person, where every person needs a place to live and we could provide guidance through that process at no cost to them, because if they're buying real estate, well, we could help them buy it at no cost to them. If they're selling real estate, well, we're going to get a buyer to pay that commission for you, because they're going to pay the sale price, which ultimately pays the commission. So in your day-to-day life, you're constantly going to have people that you come across where this is really just where you have to develop that little bit of a skill of being able to talk about real estate. And one of the great ways to do that is to start getting known as an expert in real estate. And when you start to become an expert in real estate, you will start to get known as an expert in real estate. See how easy that is? Now, it sounds easy, but it actually takes quite a bit of work and studying and time and attention to become an expert in real estate. But remember, when you're investing in an asset, when you're investing in yourself, that's what you're doing. You're investing in yourself. This isn't a quick payoff type of investment, because you don't go read a book and then all of a sudden you get a big payday when you finish reading that book or watching a video or whatever it is that you're doing. But you're investing in making your asset stronger, making your asset more powerful, making your asset that is you more capable. And then in your day-to-day life, when you just know more about real estate, it just teams. It just explodes out of you. There's a really great analogy that I like that I can't remember exactly where it is that I heard this from. So the idea is, okay, you've got this cup and maybe there's like some sort of faucet here pouring water into this cup. Now what happens when there's all this extra water? Well, it starts pouring out. It's gonna start draining out of there if you keep pouring new information in. So by you training yourself, by you learning more about real estate, you're gonna just start exuding information about real estate. So if you're serious about making real estate something that you really want to go all in on, that you want to try to be the best at it, then you've got to be taking in information, because what that's going to do is that's going to allow that information to spill out onto others, which is going to help you in this day-to-day idea when you're generating leads. And this is the one thing that you should constantly be doing, not necessarily to generate leads, but to build yourself into a better business person, to build yourself into a better real estate professional, to further and advance your career. You have to know how to do that. And that's what training and watching a video like this even does. It's all about making yourself better, where, again, you're not going to get a quick payday from watching a video or reading a book, but that's an investment in your future, and that'll help you with the day-to-day, especially when you start studying things about real estate. Like here in Tampa, and it's all over the country, they've got the business journals, and here we've got the Tampa Bay business journals, and they do a really great job of talking about real estate. Now, maybe they're in your city, maybe there's some other publication that exists in your city, but wherever it is that you are, there's probably some sort of publication, whether that comes from your local association of realtors or whether that is some sort of newspaper or anything like that, but you want to try to absorb news about real estate because people like news. There's multi-billion-dollar corporations that make all of their money from news, because people want the news. So when you can be a source of news for real estate, people will look to you. You're going to gain influence. And that's going to help you out with your day-to-day. Just people that when you're living your life, that you interact with, that you're not actively seeking to get to become clients, but you're trying to be a magnet. You're trying to get people to gravitate to you. And again, just knowing a lot about real estate, having people see that you're an expert in real estate, making sure that is the persona that you're putting out there, that you're the real estate expert, that's going to help you out with the day-to-day, and that's where even business will just start coming to you. But this is a very long-term strategy, but something you want to work on every single day. But let's say we want something, we've got to find more hot leads. We need to find business right now. You don't want to just sit around and wait for your day-to-day life to drop a lead in your lap if you need business right now. So some of the ways it is you can do business right now. Let's start with one way that's really popular is holding an open house. Now, you might not have a listing yet. Here, look, easy solution to that. Go borrow a listing from somebody. Go find another agent that has a listing that doesn't want to do an open house and says, hey, I know you probably don't want to do an open house here, but would you mind if I did an open house for you? I want to try to meet some new buyers. I'm a new agent. Come on, help me out. I'll make sure that I take good care of it. I'll set it up real good. And if they really are saying no, you could even say, hey, look, if I find a buyer, you don't even have to pay me a commission. Or maybe you split the commission. You negotiate whatever it is that you want, but you could very easily borrow a listing to hold at an open house. So let's say, or really it's even better if you have your own listing, and that's also something that open houses might help you do as well. So open houses are great. If you could set one of those up for this weekend, I mean, here we are on Friday, so if you're trying to do one tomorrow or Sunday, it's a little last minute, but I would still say maybe try to throw something together. Just don't get discouraged when no one shows up because you didn't put enough preparation into it. If you want to find out more about open houses, we've got tons of videos on our Success Center about open houses. These are all available for free. tampaschool.com/success, tampaschool.com/success. You go in there, and we've got our whole database of all of our State of Real Estate, Ask the Instructor videos, and we've got a ton of stuff about open houses where you can definitely learn how to hold great open houses just off of those videos alone. So, the open house. The goal here isn't necessarily to sell the house. Now, if that happens, that's fantastic, but that's like you hitting the real estate lottery. That doesn't happen. There's a 1% chance that that will happen. That's the statistics from the Association of Realtors, is you have a 1% chance that you're going to sell the house you're holding open. So that's probably not going to be what the goal should be, because you're banking on that 1% chance. We're not here to play the lottery. We're here to make some money. And the opportunity, and that's really the whole point of this, not just finding leads, but also nurturing them. The opportunity is these buyers walking into the property. And not just the buyers walking into the property, but also the sellers walking into the property. And you might say, well, John, why would a seller come to an open house? Well, why would a seller come to an open house? Well, maybe they're not selling yet, but they're thinking about selling. Is that or is that not a great time to meet that person? And so a lot of times, you talk to some people out there that maybe done open houses before, and they might say, oh, open houses don't work. They're just all the neighbors come over, and they just want to be nosy and eat the food that I bring there. Look, all those neighbors coming over, they're coming over. Maybe part of it is they want to see the inside of the house, but they're doing it. The reason why they want to see the inside of that house is they want to compare that house to theirs. They want to see, oh, well, let's see this other house in the neighborhood that's for sale. What's that selling for? What's that look on the inside? Is this nicer than our house? Is this worse than our house? These are the questions that are going through their head of everybody that owns real estate that's currently in that open house. So no, they're not a nosy neighbor. They're interested in seeing the inside of the house because they want to know, well, this house is selling for $400,000. Why? Let's take a look on the inside here. Oh, wow, this looks just like our house. Our house probably could sell for this much. That's what they're thinking when they're going through this open house. They might not be ready to sell. So that's really the part two of this is going to be about nurturing them, staying in connection with them. But that's a great way to pick up sellers to get you some listings so you could hold your own open houses so you don't have to go around borrowing people's open houses and having that inventory. So that's something I want to throw right up here right along with this, because you hold enough open houses, you will eventually get a listing. Open houses will get you a listing. Probably not after one open house, maybe not even after 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 20. But you hold enough open houses and you get good enough at doing open houses, the opportunities are there. The opportunities are walking in through the door. You have to realize how you can capitalize on the opportunity. But not right now, right there in that very moment, how you can nurture this lead into an eventual contract. Because our job isn't to convince people to sell. Our job is to help them to sell. Now, if they're interested in selling and they're unsure of whether or not now is a good time for them based on their situation, and if based on their situation and what the market says now is a good time to sell, well, yeah, then of course we're going to say, yeah, now is a good time to sell. Based on everything you told me, your situation and where the market is at, I think right now is a great time to sell for you. I wouldn't recommend waiting, because if you believe that is the right thing for them, again, it's just simple being ethical. And that's really what's going to grow your real estate business long term, is by providing amazing relationship with your past clients. And that's another source of leads we could throw up here, is past clients. And part of why I'm listing this up here is depending on where these leads are coming from and depending on their level of engagement and interest is how you're going to follow up with them to nurture them into a contract, into a actual client, into somebody that you're transacting with. And don't feel bad about that. That is your job. Your job. You wear a lot of hats in real estate. You've got a lot of jobs in real estate. There's a lot of things that you do, and part of that job is finding leads. Now, as I go through this list here, These are all ways you could find leads without paying for advertising. These are more direct prospecting strategies. And other direct prospecting strategies would be things like cold calls. Now, you don't like cold calls, you don't have to do them. But if you wouldn't mind doing some cold calling, that can be a very effective way to generate leads as well. It's not for everyone, but if it's something you're interested in doing, I would say give it a shot, because you probably can generate some really good business. And this is also very scalable because you're able to generate leads right from here. And there's all kinds of cool auto dialer stuff. You get really advanced with cold calling, but maybe cold calling makes you cringe. That doesn't need to be part of your strategy then. You want to build a strategy that you can be successful with. It's your business. You define how it operates. You define how it generates leads. You don't have to do any of these particular things. You just need to find leads. I'm just giving you some examples here of things you can do so you know all the different ways you could find leads. So cold calls. You could also do door knocking. Now, door knocking is more time intensive, because you're physically going to each property, walking to the door, knocking on the door, and hoping to meet the owner of the property so you can establish a relationship with them. So when they ever need a real estate service, whether they want to sell their existing property or they want to invest in real estate, or maybe they just want to stay up to date on what the value of their property is, you could provide those services for them. And the giving them an up-to-date value, that's a great thing to do when you're door knocking. You're knocking on doors in the neighborhood. Hey, my name is John Carissimo. I'm from ABC Realty. I just wanted to stop by today and introduce myself as a specialist in the neighborhood here. I know you probably have no interest right now of buying or selling. Matter of fact, are you the owner of the property? And yeah, that might be a bad script, because putting them on the spot right there like that, they might just lie to you. So that might not be a good question to ask right there, but that's the point of this. You refine a script and you go through this once you know the objective. You've defined how it is that you want to generate leads. And we've done a bunch of episodes where we spent a whole episode talking about door knocking. So if you're interested in that, almost any one of these topics here, we've got more videos where you can dive deeper into that. Again, that link is tampaschool.com/success. But yeah, so knocking on the door saying, hey, look, I know you probably don't need to sell your house right now. A matter of fact, how long have you been living here? We've been here just a year now. Oh yeah, of course, you just moved in here, so I'm sure you're not interested in moving anytime soon. What made you move to the area? I'm just curious. I'm just trying to better understand the neighborhood and what people are looking for in this neighborhood. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And this gives you good insights. This gets you connected with the community out there. Another thing you could be doing as well are community events. So, maybe there's garage sales going on. If you like garage sales, that might be a great time to just go walking through the neighborhood and meet the people that own all these houses in the neighborhood. And some of them might be renters. Some of them might be renting the house. They don't own it. Well, would you be interested in owning a house? Owning a house of your own? And they might say, oh no, I don't know if we could do that. Our credit, our income, we're self-employed, blah, 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 all the things. So again, going back to that discussion we had at the beginning about the day-to-day, you need to be an expert. The more of an expert you become, the more you're going to be able to identify opportunities. Because maybe you're walking through the garage sale and you meet a family. So you meet some people that are, selling some stuff at their house here, and they're saying, yeah, we're selling this because, we want to get rid of it and we're thinking about moving soon. We don't know what. Maybe we've been thinking about buying a house. Oh my God. They're selling stuff at a garage sale because they want to get rid of stuff for before they move. Is that a great way to find potential leads? Absolutely. Now, is that going to be every person you meet? No. Sometimes people are just trying to get rid of their junk and they want to see if they get some money for it before they just throw it in the garbage. But again, even then, it's about establishing a relationship. So finding the leads, there's all these different sources out there where you could find leads. But depending on where the leads are coming from, and also just depending on the lead itself, there's going to be different levels of motivation. So what I would say, to get onto the nurturing side of this here, and then of course we could also just throw advertising up here. That's real easy. Not really. It's not real easy. It's actually pretty difficult to advertise effectively and for cheap at least, or expensive to pay somebody else to advertise for you effectively. I would say this should be the last thing you're doing to generate leads, because these are going to work on your soft skills. These are going to work on your people skills. These are going to work on your communication skills. This is just going to cost you money. Especially if you're just paying somebody like Zillow or Realtor.com or any of these websites that sell leads out there. It's a great place to get leads, but you're not investing in yourself. You're just investing in a lead. That's the difference. When you're doing these things, a big part of it is investing in yourself and what you're doing and becoming an expert at these things. I mean, if you're just trying to find leads in your day-to-day, you've got to be good at that to be able to do that. If you want to get leads in an open house, you've got to be good at that. If you want to get leads from inventory, and what do I mean? Because we really didn't talk about this one in detail. So inventory is your listings. Inventory are your listings, the properties you have available. Because when you have inventory, when you are a store and you as a store have inventory, people will usually come to your store to buy that inventory, especially if you're the only store that has that inventory. And even if you're not the only store that has that inventory, because if it's in the MLS, then any broker could show the property, or anybody buying leads on Zillow might get a lead for your property. But if you're having listings, you are automatically going to be attached to any marketing for those listings for the most part. Pretty much all the major websites. If you go on Zillow, you'll see the listing agent listed first for every single property that's on Zillow. And that's usually the case for all of these real estate sites out there that sell these leads. So that alone, and that doesn't cost you anything usually. Usually that's free. Usually that's out of respect of the company for, okay, well, this is your listing. All right, so we'll list you on here at no extra charge to you. That might not be the case, and who knows, maybe they change their model where they do start charging for that, but ultimately, that alone is already available to you for free. But on top of that, think of the sign you put in the yard. And yeah, the sign probably isn't going to get the property sold, but it could. Statistically speaking, the odds are low, but for the cost of a sign, especially the panels being reusable, put a sign up there. You do. Maybe then you start doing some other things. Maybe you start holding open houses to basically build on the momentum and really cycle this process, so that way your listings that you're holding open houses on now, especially if you find the buyer for that, and that's what the benefit is of these open houses, is if you find the buyer and it's your listing, well, boom, double payday. So that kind of makes it worth it if you get lucky enough to find the buyer. But don't go into open houses expecting to find a buyer, because again, that's only going to happen 1% of the time. But the real opportunity there is all the leads walking into your property. And with open houses, to get good at them, you've got to get people in the door as well. Even if you don't really do much to advertise your open house at all, even if you just put a couple signs out there, you might only get 2 or 3 people that show up, but you've got 2 or 3 people that are seriously interested in real estate. They were interested enough in real estate to stop what they were doing that day and walk into this open house. To maybe just pull over when they saw the sign and say, oh, let's go check out that house. Why? What's the reason why they're walking in there? They're either wanting to buy or better understand selling. They're one of those 2 things. And we can help them better understand both of those things. We just have to build the relationship so we can show that value to them. So the open houses and the listing inventory, there's a lot you could do to advertise your products, your houses that you have available for sale, to generate leads. Maybe you send postcards. Maybe you're doing some sort of direct mail. Maybe you're using like ClickFunnels or landing page websites, or you've got a blog, or you're using social. Or there's so many ways it is that you could push traffic to your inventory. And the real benefit here is not only are you increasing your odds of doubling your payday, but you're also increasing your leads that you're getting. Because even if they're not going to buy that property, you've got access to all the properties in the MLS that you could show them. Then once you start doing some transactions, past clients, do not neglect them. Make sure you nurture them. Make sure you're following up with all these people, because every person that you meet, every single person that you meet, I don't care if they're a billionaire or if they're homeless, they're an opportunity. They're an opportunity, whether they have $1 billion or they're homeless. Now, the question is, which one's more of the immediate opportunity? And obviously, that's the person with $1 billion. If the person is homeless and literally has nothing to their name, they're not really an opportunity now. But I want to go to that extreme to show you that person, even at really probably rock bottom. When you hit rock bottom, a lot of times when people hit rock bottom, not always, but a lot of times when people hit rock bottom, they bounce back. And sometimes they just need a hand to help them bounce back. And maybe that's something that connects with you. And being successful, building a successful business where you could take care of yourself, allowed you to get into an opportunity to be able to help others, to be able to donate to charities, to be able to have time to be able to volunteer, whatever it is that you want to do. You get that opportunity when you're able to generate a successful business. But again, going back to the story, no matter where this person is at in their life, no matter what their level of success is, no matter where they're at, what their age, whatever it may be, they are an opportunity. It's just a question of when are they at the opportunity, and are you going to stay around long enough to be there to capitalize on that opportunity? Because in real estate, if you build enough relationships with enough people, and you build strong relationships and not just strong relationships, but strong relationships that are based around the idea that you are the real estate expert. And that's really the thing I kind of preface this all with at the beginning. If you want this to work to the best of its potential, to the best of its abilities, to be able to get as many leads as possible for as cheap as possible, you need to become an expert. You need to become an expert. You need to become a master. You need to become so advanced that you start talking about stuff and people can't always follow what you're saying because it's so advanced. That's your level of expertise. And then you also have to get good at it, being able to realize that you're talking over people's heads and be able to dumb it down, so to say, or basically communicate it in a manner that the other person you're speaking with understands. So a lot of skills it is that you've got to become an expert at, but if you become an expert, that's going to take all these things with it. It's not just about knowing how to do a technical skill. It's having the skills to execute that skill. Having the ability to talk to people at the open house and be able to have a casual conversation that at the same time does a little bit of qualification. At the same time, plants some seeds about potential opportunities that you have for them. So all of these take skills, and I would not recommend trying to do all of these. The whole point of this here, of listing out all these different ways that you could generate leads, is so you could pick a couple of these, but then also part number two, this isn't going to work unless you nurture these leads. Because very rarely, wherever the lead comes from, even if you're paying for leads on Zillow, these are not always immediate, highly motivated buyers. Even when you're paying hundreds of dollars for leads sometimes, they are not always immediately qualified and ready to go buyers. So that takes some nurturing. And look, even if somebody's got a bad credit score, that doesn't mean that they're always going to have a bad credit score. Credit scores are very volatile. Credit scores change very quickly. Even with major things like bankruptcies and foreclosures. Yeah, it's a couple years in that case there, but if you're willing to wait a couple years, there's tens of thousands of dollars on the table, not just from that client, but also from referral opportunities that client can provide if you nurture that relationship with them. So think about each one of these here. We're going to do a follow-up next week on this and build on that nurturing concept a little bit more, so that way you could take these leads that you're getting, properly segment them, and follow up with them accordingly. Follow up to them according to their level of desire, their level of interest, and that way you're able to be the most efficient in how you process and nurture all of these leads, and that's going to help you get the fewest of them slipping through the cracks, because every lead that gets away is tens of thousands of dollars leaving you, maybe even $100,000 of lifetime value potentially leaving you. So don't let the leads slip away. Stay tuned for next week. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon, so that way you get notifications when we go live, so you don't miss out when we talk more about nurturing leads. That's all the time we've got for today. If you want to start a career in real estate, 813-333-2676. You need post licensing, want to get your broker license, 813-333-2676. Check us out on our websites. That's all we got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business.
You're watching State of Real Estate.